Sup, Reitanna, it's Reitanna Seishin here. A very tired Reitanna Seishin here. I've been getting up too early for the past couple of days, and it's... I'm already exhausted, like, all the time, but it doesn't help when I can't stay asleep, you know? I get to sleep just fine thanks to my medication, but staying asleep or something wakes me up. I'm just like, okay, I'm awake now. Thanks. There was a seagull outside this morning. It's too cold for a seagull to be away from the beach. Anyway. Okay, so this update actually is technically a Muffins update. It's included. But I just wanted to say, for those of you who watch my DeviantArt, and for those of you who missed the newest Muffins story that was uploaded, like, a day before I got banned. I've been thinking about doing this for a long time, and I just received a message of somebody suggesting it, and I say a lot, and I said, Reitanna, this is not the first instance where you say a lot, you know this already. On Quotive, I received a message that suggested that I should put my Muffin stories and my Reitanna fiction stories up on Quotive. Is it Quotev or Quotive? I don't, it's spelled Quotev, so... And I told them that I was thinking about it, but it might be a while because it wasn't my top priority. But then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll start it. And then I realized that it was actually going pretty smoothly and didn't take too long. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm uploading, putting it all up, publishing it all. It's all up there. So every single Muffin story that has been written and uploaded to my DeviantArt, not YouTube. There are, like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 stories that are written and haven't been narrated yet. Now, for those of you who pay attention, you'll know that I am currently, and have been for the past few months, on a narration hiatus. This means I'm not reading, I'm not editing any readings or recordings or whatever. I'm not doing it right now because I was doing it too much and I burnt myself out and I pissed myself off because it's not easy. I'm still gonna do the thing where as I'm editing the Final Crusade, I'm going to be recording my progress, and it's gonna be a few hours long. Not just a few hours, a few 10, 20 hours. We'll see when we get there. So, I started playing Animal Crossing because I was stressed, and I was stressed because these stupid narrations drive me crazy. And I could totally make my text reader do it, but here's what it would sound like.
At last, her gaze fell upon the front counter, and she saw the silhouettes of 6 ponies staring right at her. "Hi, Fluttershy," said the hauntingly familiar voice of Pinkie Pie. "Did you miss us?" Outside, the streets were filled with the sound of sirens, and Chief Cherrywood spoke through a speakerphone as he galloped past shops and houses. "Every pony get back into your homes," he shouted at the scared citizens. "There has been a prison break. 4 extremely dangerous mares are on the loose. For your own safety, stay inside your homes." The continuing sirens and shouts masked the high-pitched scream that came from inside Sugarcube Corner.
So, just like on my Muffins playlist, every single story on Quotev is in order. Now, I didn't post cupcakes, because that's not my story, but it is technically story 0, as you could see in my Muffins playlist. So, there's cupcakes, but it's not on my Quotev, because that's by Sergeant Sprinkles. Okay, so in order, you will see this. This is how it goes. Muffins, Derpy's first project. Side story, Derpy's story. That's redundant, but I don't care. Side story, Pinkie Pie's success. Payback. The Pie Sisters reunited. Meet the team. Minkie Pie's turn. Apple Bloom gets her cutie mark. The fun never ends, which was supposed to be the final ending. You see, I kept hinting to the fact that the fun never ends, the story, and how the side stories that I was doing, the vicious cycle had begun once more. It's just like Pinky said, the fun never ends. It was supposed to be like hinting the readers to say, they're gonna keep doing it. You just gotta use your imagination. Fluttershy dies. So, but everybody just kept pushing it, and this is the first time I've ever given in to peer pressure, and now the stories are really good. I'm really proud of the stories, and I like them, but I hate narrating them. So, yeah, blame everybody who can't use their fucking imagination. So, even though I hinted so many times that they just keep going, they're gonna keep going, meh. And so I had this big point where I was like, I'm not writing the main story anymore. It's done. So I had a bunch of side stories. They go, side story, Prison Break. Side story, The Party Pony. Side story, Party of None. Side story, The Revenge of Obsidian Pie. Side story, Just a Little Girl Time. Side story, Free Like a Pegasus. Side story, The Imprisoned Pie. Side story, On Trial. Side story, The New Elements of Harmony. And then I started The Mad Musings of Obsidian Pie with the game. Next is The Mad Musings of Obsidian Pie, Forgiveness. Next is the big long one! Side story, Grudge of a Grudge of a Bad Seed. Side story, Broken Tiara. Side story, Inky Pie's Birthday. Side story, Inky's Stellar Obsession. The Mad Musings of Obsidian Pie, My Curse. And then that's where I continue the main story because people wouldn't shut the fuck up. So we go on Farewell to Kindness. Side story, Even Rocks Break. Side story, All That Glitters. Twilight's Fall. The Mad Musings of Obsidian Pie, Happiness. And then, what's not uploaded as a narration yet, these are not recorded yet. Well, The Final Crusade is recorded but not edited yet. Here are the stories that if you really don't want to wait for the narration, you can read them. They're there. There's no secret. I'm not hiding them from you. The Final Crusade, and then Let's Welcome Chaos, Day 1, Let's Welcome Chaos, Day 2, Let's Welcome Chaos, Day 3, Side Story, Silence is Silver, and Sting. So Sting is the most recent of the main story. And like I said, it was uploaded like a day or two before my ban. So if you haven't gotten a chance to read it yet, and you are having problems searching for it on DeviantArt, it is now on Miquotev. So there are no excuses to not know about those 6 stories. So, obviously, if it doesn't have The Mad Musings of Obsidian Pie or Side Story in front of it, that means it's part of the main story. These are obvious things that people don't get that confuse the hell out of me because come on, it's so fucking obvious. Like, people are like, oh, what order is it in? They're all out of order. And I'm like, no, they are not. You see, a side story is a story that explains what happens in another time. Like, at a different point in the timeline. Before, after, or during events in the main story. And, I put them all in the order that they're supposed to go, and if you do not read/listen to them in that order, you're gonna get confused. And every side story gives the details in the beginning and throughout the story of exactly when it's happening. Now, the only reason there should be confusion on that is for people who don't pay attention. You have trouble listening, and you don't take in every single detail like a good reader/listener does. If you're listening to a story, you gotta do something where you're still hearing the story, Don't try to read or listen to music while you're listening to a story or reading a story. Don't do that. Don't try watching TV, I don't understand, It's just like the people who are like, why is there only one picture? I don't know what's happening. That is the worst. Oh my god. You seriously? What? Okay, sorry, but, what? You don't know what's happening? I am telling the story. This is a story. Again, I am not the only fucking narrator who uses one picture. Let's see, who am I subscribed to? I want to see my subscriptions of all the narrators. Hang on. Let's see. Of all the narrators that I'm subscribed to. I was listening to Ma Dry Bread. He had, like, Pokepastas or something that he would go over. King Spook, Creeps McPasta. I have a lot of, green screen stuff. Evil Black Bunny, and I haven't listened to anything in a long time, you know, aside from Tool. That's it. You know, music. I haven't listened to my favorite narrators in a long ass time, and personally, I don't really know why. Okay, continuing on after Evil Black Bunny, Mr. Creepypasta, of course. I believe he was the first one I found. Barnabas Damos. I hope I pronounced that right. Chilling Tales, True Scary Stories and Creepypastas. Use true with a grain of salt. Was Kitten RH one that... I don't remember. I don't remember if some of these were actual creepypastas. There's Creepypasta Chronicles. I think Creepy Raven was one? I don't know. Litterbot and Creepypasta Jr. and Getting Spooky. Creepy Rainbow Pasta. I don't even remember who you are. Natinator 77. Dr. Blood. Was Zombie Doll one? I don't remember. Miss Shadow Lovely. Third Storytime. Paranormal Mango. Dead Josie. Little Creepypasta 13. That must be new. And The Creepy Dark. Oh, and is Well Hey Productions one? I could have sworn it was. Hang on. Yeah. Well Hey Productions. So those are all the narrators that I am subscribed to, that I used to listen to a lot. So, I mean, really, like I said, I haven't been listening to anything. But, you know, sometimes they'll have a couple little, tidbits and stuff, little moving GIFs or something on repeat, or, you know, screen effects, but in majority, any narrator has one picture. And hardly any narrators use that one picture that is actually their art. This is my art, okay? First, before I knew Inkscape, I would take other vectors that were, other people made to use, and I'd, put them in a scene and stuff and make them out of those vectors. But then I learned Inkscape. Do you know how long it takes me to do one picture? Depending on the detail, it could take up to 13 hours. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to illustrate every single scene. If you cannot follow the story just by listening to words, I feel sorry for you. I mean, come on, we have an imagination for a reason. When I listen to a story or read a story, I can picture it clearly in my mind. That's probably part of the reason why I'm such a good creator with, I'm a good writer. I come up with funky things that I'm rather proud of, whether or not they apparently are similar to other creations. Okay, I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. I don't know any of the characters. I've seen a couple of pictures or whatever, but I don't know the characters' names. I don't know which ones are actually in the game. I don't know what they look like, and I don't know the gameplay, I don't know the story, I know nothing about that game. But apparently, my IntelliDroid, that I just posted a speed paint of, shares the same name with one of the androids in Sister Location. That's a coincidence. It's the same thing as when I created Rosie Quartz. And her siblings were Amethyst and... oh, there was another one. I don't remember. But apparently, Rose Quartz is a character from Steven Universe or whatever, and the name of her siblings were also names of characters from this show, and it was a complete coincidence. And people were like, oh, I didn't know you liked Steven Universe! And I'm like, huh? What? Excuse... what? So I had to put disclaimers on that one going, oh my god. Listen, coincidences happen. It's disrespectful to compare people's OCs to other characters, I mean, think about it. Think of the SCP Foundation. Think of SCP-173. He's a statue that if you blink or look away, he will kill you. Now, apparently, I don't like Doctor Who, but apparently there's this angel statue that if you blink or if you look away, they kill you. I looked it up. Those things were made, both SCP-173 and those angel statue things were made relatively around the same time without having any way of knowing about each other. So 2 different people came up with the same exact idea, pretty much, except for the design, And Baby doesn't look like anything from Sister Location. The only similarity I can really put is her rosy cheeks, and she's designed that way because she I don't want to spoil anything about IntelliDroids because I can't post anything until my DeviantArt gets back up. But basically, IntelliDroids are robots that are mostly free-thinking, and, that can go either good ways or bad ways, and they're programmed with basic personalities that as they, experience their quote-unquote life, they, their personalities are built, and they can change or whatever, but, Baby was designed with a happy, peppy, personality, so she was, her physical appearance has a happy and peppy appearance. She's pink! She's pink and she has rosy cheeks! That just says happy all over it! So, they just don't get the wrong idea, guys. Really, if you think that something of mine is similar to another thing, it's possible I haven't even either heard of whatever you're talking about, or it's a complete coincidence because I've never touched anything that, I don't know, that just bothered me. I mean, it's like, it just bothered me, okay? Yes, I did draw inspiration from my life as a teenage robot, though. That is inspiration, but the drawing style is a little different. Her feet, though, I've always liked Jenny's feet, so I made her feet like sort of like that, but not flat and less pointy. But mostly though, for the design, I was sorry, I'm congested for some reason. The design was inspired from I don't know if you know of Bleed Man. His art style of the kind of small, cartoony, like when he did the Powerpuff Girls. I haven't read any Bleed Man stuff since I was like 13, so I don't know what he's currently doing. But that's kind of where I got the idea. The really round head, the arms that are smaller or thinner toward the shoulder and bigger toward the hand. Same with the legs. But, oy vey. Another thing about my quotev is, For people who are on my DeviantArt, they already know this, but I know there's a lot of you who watch my YouTube who don't even have a DeviantArt account, don't pay attention to any DeviantArt stuff. For those of you who were old enough and liked my dreary fanfictions, that escalated quickly, and Drago's point of view, and all that other stuff that's gonna be put in there, I have a completely different one called Eye Candy. And it's, some of the chapters are okay for about 16 and up. Some of the chapters are not okay for 16 and up. Some of them are 18 and up. So, because of DeviantArt having the fattest, most splintery broom up their rectums, I have been posting the chapters to Quotev in their full, and in each chapter title is, a cue of whether it's okay for 16 and up or 18 and up. Now, preferably, because the chapters, switch, of age appropriateness, I'd rather only adults 18 and older, read this. It is very, very erotic, very sexually graphic. It's a lot different than any story I've ever written. The reason why I started it was because I had, an idea that sounded like a really terrible idea, and then I was like, but I've been praised on my writing since I was a child. I wonder if I could take this horrible idea and make it great. So far, I've been pretty successful, and I like what I've done. So I just recently posted the I've written more chapters than I have published, but I just posted chapter 19, which I have currently completed. 28 chapters. I'm trying to upload them slowly so I don't catch up with myself. So yeah, if you're a fan of Dreary, and if you're old enough, go read them, dog. But this was mostly about the Muffins, and like I always do, I went on a little bit of a tangent. Reitanna, why do you do that? I don't know! I feel like holding Caulfield over here. Oh, you youngins don't even get that, do you? Youngins. Anyway, try to remember if there was anything I needed to say. Anything.
Fuck! I don't remember!
Oh, I have a bunch of, amiibo unboxing videos that I've recorded, but I need to post. And I've got a huge stack of mail time, but I haven't been, Reitanna hasn't been in the mood to do her makeup! I'm obnoxious. Lots to do, so little time. Reitanna's always tired, or she has to go to a fucking doctor's appointment because her body isn't working right. Meh. And then there's the whole Animal Crossing addiction, which I admit I'm getting better at. I'm definitely getting better at. So, yeah. And Baby's the first thing I've drawn in a long time. Yeah. Hey, let me know if you, diddy-dum. If, for those of you who were watching my DeviantArt and you noticed that I was using a lot of dress-up dolls to, not only see if I can create the Muffins characters with those games, but also try to create my original characters with those games, but also create new characters just as background characters for Encephalon that really, don't have that much of an impact, because, if you use a game to design characters that you're really not going to use, probably just, mention. It's because Encephalon is a world and it needs a population. So the only problem is I have too many girls. There's too many of the womans. It's like a clam party up in here. There are like hardly any dude dress-up games, and it pisses me off. I'm like, you goddamn sexist. Fuck. I want guys. I need to make guys. I can't just make a bunch of guys with the same games that have such limited options with a bunch of guys that are going to be in like broad range of personality. So if you guys know any good male dress-up games, for the PC or Android, which I looked and I couldn't find any of them. I don't have iPhone, so it sucks for me if there are any good games on that, which there probably are. Let me know of any good male dress-up games, you know, with good options and such. Preferably not too cartoonized. Reitanna English. like if they're like properly proportioned as humans, or they're anime characters, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. But what I was getting at is, let me know if you want me to make a video showing you what I haven't uploaded to my DeviantArt so far, just to show you the designs. Obviously, with these background characters, I make up their story or purpose on the spot, as well as species. So yeah, I make up things on the spot. There, you know, I may have muffins planned out, and I have a lot of eye candy planned out, but with things I create, I pretty much go whoop-ah and go, let's see, what does this tell me? They tell me their story. I don't make their story. They gotta tell it to me. Same, you know, your characters are people. They got personalities and they're individuals. You gotta make them individuals. But also, my background characters may seem quote-unquote Mary Sue, which the definition of it covers like every single character who ever existed, like Ash Ketchum, Ichigo Kurosaki, that one girl from Psycho Pass that I don't remember. Even real people like John Cena. Well, then again, he does have a character that is created for him. He's probably not a Mary Sue in real life. So it's like, it's the worst term that has ever been done ever. Like, it would work if it only described just bland characters, you know? But whether they're bland or not, it doesn't matter, because people are bland and people are similar. You know, people have different personalities. So if they look or sound like a Mary Sue, get over yourself. They're background characters. They're probably not even gonna be in the stories. It doesn't matter. Why do you care? You know, the one Mary Sue I've ever made was Sissy the Hedgehog, and I was a stupid 16-year-old. Got rid of her when I was a stupid 17-year-old. So fuck that. I don't make Mary Sues. And if they're a Mary Sue to you, maybe you just don't get it. Because I always have a reason for designing my characters. Like I said, my reason for designing Sissy was to make Sonic and Shadow fight over her, because I did Sonic shippings, which I quickly grew out of, thank God, because it's weird. It's weird. Same with pony shippings. It freaks me out. And fucking furries. I mean, it's different if you're like, I have some the species that I refer to as part animal and part human. You know, like a cat. They're not full furry. They're like people with ears and a tail, and I call them like half cat, half dog, half fox. It's the name's there. It tells you exactly what they are. That's a little different because they're still human. They're not like covered in fur and whiskers and have paws. And okay, furries weird me out. They really, you know, don't get too offended by this, but people who like dress up as furries and like go to like furry orgies, or people who draw furry porn, I can't even tell you how many times I've tried to look up human hentai. And I've gotten ponies, I've gotten Sonic the Hedgehog characters, and I've gotten furries. Just like, is there a way to make my search more specific? And to also filter out lolly and Shotokan? Every time I come across that, I'm just thinking, they're not a child, they're not a child, they're just small and cute, they're just small and cute, they're not a child! But sometimes it's like, obviously a child, I'm like, why would you draw that? It makes me sad, it makes me horrified! I'm just thinking like, I'm sorry, but if you're into Shotokan or Lolicon, you are messed up. That means you are attracted. You think of children as sexually attractive. That is wrong. It is very wrong. And if you like that kind of stuff, you need to go seek a therapist because that is not okay. And I hate coming across that especially when I'm looking up traps, because apparently most traps are children. I'm like, no, I want adult traps, or at least older teenagers. Ah! I don't like Shota. It makes me feel so sorry. I know it's like little fictional kids, but it really does make me want to cry. I'm honest. I'm being completely serious. It makes me want to cry because it makes me remember that happens in our world. That actually happens, and that is not okay. Children are supposed to be just cute. You know, not sexual. They're not developed. They're just supposed to be cute and annoying. I mean, I don't like children. You know, they can be as cute as they want, but they're still fucking annoying and loud. That's what they're supposed to be. It's wow. I'm sorry. I'm really, really, really passionate about certain things, and just rape really gets to me. It really does. I've never been sexually abused in my entire life, but it just makes me feel so sickened because, to me, sex is a powerful tool to be used as an expression of love. It's not supposed to be abuse. And it just, oh my god, it bugs me. It just bugs me. And children are not old enough to understand love. You don't start understanding that shit until you're, mid-teens even. That's why the youngest I'll ever ship is 14. And I know technically that's minors, but if it's fictional, and if it's, because I lost my virginity at 14. So to me, that seems like the right time to be experimenting with your sexuality, but obviously you gotta know about the dangers and stuff and how to protect yourself against pregnancy and STDs, or STIs. Back in my day, they were called STDs. So, as older teenagers, it doesn't bother me so much because, they're getting there. They're understanding it. So, I just think of the way I felt sexually in my teenagehood. All right, Reitanna, we don't need to know any of this shit. I'm not gonna give you details. God. So, but like, little 13-year-olds, I'm not quite engaged to Michael yet, but I'm still going to call him my brother-in-law because he will be my brother-in-law. He's currently 15, but I met him when he was 9 and growing up, and it makes me feel really sick to think of somebody taking a little 9-year-old and no, I can't, and it's going to make me feel depressed, and I need to stop talking about it. I've complained enough. There are just some things that I wish I didn't have to see when I'm looking up my illustrated porn! Especially yaoi. And especially traps. I just want traps. I don't understand it. I don't understand the world. So yeah, I know this went on for a lot longer than I wanted it to, as usual. So, if you listened. Make sure to subscribe and spread the word of us and become a Reitannite. And I'll see you later, alligators and crocodiles. And I'll start posting amiibo unboxing stuffs, okay? Alright, so, yeah, look forward to that whenever I get around to it. I'm busy. Bye.